Traffic. I'm going to send it back to you inside. Rachel.
Oh, Kasia, you're totally right. The most romantic spot, yeah, that is the auto show.
Oh, I'm so envious if you get to go away today, tomorrow, anytime in this cold spell. Puerto Plata, we see 30 degrees, partly cloudy for the next day or so. It's going to be quite nice anywhere you go. Partly cloudy conditions down through Santo Domingo. And then if you're going to Mexico, Acapulco, you're looking at 33 degrees. It would be hot and humid. Partly cloudy Cancun, clear, 27 degrees. And same for my favorite place, the Mayan Riviera at 27, clear conditions. And then if we go to Kingston, Jamaica, just a few showers. And also make sure that you go really slow because you're going to be talking about bad visibility through Newfoundland for the rest of the day and then into the next few days too as another system makes its way on through. We still could see another 2 to 5 centimeters with the current system, 5 to 15 up through Daniels Harbor. Make sure you go slow. They'll be blowing and drifting. Drive safely. Storm Watch coverage continues here at the Weather Network. Happy Friday. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm Jacqueline Woodall, and here's looking at you, Quebec. Michelin, thanks for sending this in. Blustery conditions, wintry conditions. This is the winter storm, and if I've ever seen a beauty storm, this is it. Look at this. We call this a comma shaped. You can see why, and it swirls all the way down here, the cold front all the way out in the Atlantic. The core of the low, somewhere right about there. We see some heavy snow. We even had some reports of some thunderstorm activity through Newfoundland in the last hour or two. So lots of energy with this storm, but beautiful kind of swirl to it. I wanted to show that for sure. All right. Winter storm warnings are in pink. Wind warnings are down in the south. That's in the yellow. So we have seen winds in excess of 140 kilometers an hour. Look at the snow still 5 to 15 centimeters up through the north in Newfoundland and then Wreckhouse. By the way, you saw winds over 140 there. 2 to 5 centimeters still. This is system number 1. We have another on the way. All right. One of my favorite things on Valentine's, I love doggies. And this doggie's very cute. Playing in the snow. Beautiful German Shepherd. Saying, hey, come on, let's go play. Thank you so much to our viewers for sending that in. Yes, you can always get to my heart on Valentine's Day by sending dog videos in. All right, let's take a look here. Saturday afternoon, this is the next storm. So get a short break before this system, which, by the way, has just as much wind potential. These isobars wrapping around this system. There's the core of the low. It'll move through the afternoon, first through Nova Scotia, and then into the evening hours to Newfoundland. And then high pressure replaces it. That's the next system that'll move through Ontario. We could see maybe 5 centimeters of snow from that one. But here's the rainfall forecast now. We have rainfall warnings in place for southern Nova Scotia, 10 to 25 millimeters again. So that transitional kind of storm, just like we've seen. So the flooding potential for the south shores of Nova Scotia, a possibility. In the white, that's the heaviest area, 30 to 40 centimeters of snow. So hopefully the snowblower is still working after the storm. Have they seen a winter? But it never stops. The bikers, the commuters, I just love that. They still continue to do their thing right through the winter season. And this is winter, folks. Look at this. Minus 28 up through Kapuskasing, minus 23 for Thunder Bay. And it's a little bit better than what we've seen over the last few days, that's for sure. We see cold weather still persisting, but most of the extreme stuff will stay up towards the northwest. Now, as far as our potential for snow, it's mostly into the prairies. We are looking at 5 to 10 centimeters for Kenora and then up through into Manitoba, part of the prairies anyway, less than 5 centimeters. Not a big event. There's the big event, 30 to 45 millimeters of rain. So a lot of talk about snow and road conditions. How do we treat them? Here's today's Science Behind the Weather. Well, I think we'd all agree that Canadian road conditions are by far their worst in the winter season. So how do we treat our roads in the wintertime? Various methods. You can use salt and sand to treat the roads while the storms are going on, or you can actually pre-treat using something called a salt brine mixture. And a couple days ahead of a storm, it's basically salt and water combined, and that chemical mixture inhibits the buildup of ice and snow. But actually, temperature can affect the effectiveness of salt. So let's show you this. As temperatures are colder, that melts a lot less ice per pound. You can see on that graph as that. Well, happy Valentine's Day and happy Family Day for those who are celebrating on Monday. Let's take a look at what you can expect weather-wise if you're headed outdoors to have some fun. 7 degrees for Vancouver, minus 2 for Edmonton, not too bad, plus 5 for Calgary. I highly recommend you get out and enjoy that. Regina, very nice too, minus 1, minus 4 for Winnipeg, a little bit cooler through Toronto, and the East Coast probably the coldest spot in the nation, but still quite nice, minus 9s, minus 10s, and then we chill down a little bit in other regions, minus 8 for Saskatoon and minus 11 for Sudbury, Ontario.
the personal trainer for your brain.
Happy Friday and happy Valentine's Day. I'm Jacqueline Woodall. This is a look at New Brunswick. The road conditions just treacherous. Thanks to our fabulous viewers for sending us such great footage, and you can always do that at theweathernetwork.com. And also on the website, you can check things like this out. This is a look at the infrared satellite. So this is indicating our coldest temperatures aloft or the highest cloud covers, which tend to be the coldest air associated with the clouds. So it's a comma-shaped system, and you can't really see the whole cold front that goes right out to the Atlantic, but isn't that beautiful? I think so. Anyway, there's the core of the system right about there. We do have a dry slot working in through most of Nova Scotia. So this is your break, and then that's it. We have another one that'll move in after this one. Still some residual snowfall up through the northwestern parts of Newfoundland. A slight break for Saturday morning. Take advantage of it, folks, because by the afternoon, another round of snow and rain for the southern shores of Nova Scotia. The reason why is we have that warm front sitting right along that boundary, and that's going to keep things on the rainy side for some and then snowy for others. And by snow, I mean about 30, 40 centimeters in parts of New Brunswick. Here's how much with System 1 that's still expected, 5 to 15 centimeters up towards the north, Wreck House at about 2 to 5. All right, let's show you Newfoundland. And beautiful. The winds, though, not so beautiful. Well, this next system is going to be just as windy as it works its way up the eastern seaboard. We could easily get into gusts exceeding 100K again. Now, you just saw that low just scooped by the Great Lakes. That's the next possible storm for Monday, Sunday into Monday for the GTA, for the actually most of southwestern Ontario, but just probably about 5 centimeters of snow at this point, although we'll be tracking that as we get closer to that event. Now, let's go back to the East Coast for a second, because I threw out 30 to 40 centimeters, and you're like, really? Yes, really. From Fredericton into Moncton, up through Charlottetown, parts of PEI, maybe about 20 to 30. And as you go further out, it's less amount of snow, and same for down through the southern shores of Nova Scotia. That's because of that warm front. We're going to see quite a bit of rain, 10 to 25 millimeters of rain, in fact. And it's not going to be nice. So be careful out there. Don't go out if you don't have to, starting tomorrow afternoon into Sunday. This is really extreme cold, and it's been one round of it after another. Today was quite nice. I got out and walked my dog named Symphony, and we had a nice Symphony, just like the chocolate bar. So there you go, kind of a fun thing on Valentine's Day, lots of chocolate. So we went out for a walk, and it was quite nice. Look at this, minus 11 for Sudbury, minus 17 for Timmins up towards the north, and minus 20s as far as the wind chills. Now, into the prairies, you were dealing with minus 20s base temperatures for a while. It's simmering down out there, too. Look at this, minus 9 for you, Regina, minus 16. That's not too bad, tolerable. And a minus 2 for Swift Current. Now, into the foothills of the mountains in Alberta, in the southern foothills, it's going to be gorgeous again tomorrow and into Sunday. So another nice, mild stretch for you. Here's some snow, though, for this system that'll work its way through the prairies. It's an Alberta clipper. We could see 5 to 10 centimeters from northwestern Ontario, a little less through Manitoba. And then into the higher elevations, 5 to 15 centimeters possible right to the coast, 15 centimeters possible as well. So what is all this talk about snow levels in the mountains? Here it is. If you happen to be a skier, then you've probably heard the word snow level. So what does this actually mean? It means the difference between rain or snow on the slopes on a beautiful sunny day. Now look at this. This is land. All right, so what does it actually mean? Well, it basically translates to how high you have to go up to get snow, because precipitation will start to transition as we move from a lower altitude to a higher altitude, from rain to snow. So it's that transition line from rain to snow. And temperatures, whether it be anywhere right at the surface or at a higher elevation, cool with height. Now here's the catch, that if it's snowing at a low level, maybe at the base of the mountain, that typically means worse travel conditions, because now we have transitional type precipitation from rain to sleet to snow. Well, happy Valentine's Day and happy Family Day for those who are celebrating on Monday. Let's take a look at what you can expect weather-wise if you're headed outdoors to have some fun. 7 degrees for Vancouver, minus 2 for Edmonton, not too bad, plus 5 for Calgary. I highly recommend you get out and enjoy that. Regina, very nice too, minus 1, minus 4 for Winnipeg, a little bit cooler through Toronto, and the East Coast probably the coldest spot in the nation, but still quite nice, minus 9s, minus 10s, and then we chill down a little bit in other regions, minus 8 for Saskatoon and minus 11 for Sudbury. The Weather Network. Well, happy Friday and happy Valentine's Day. I'm Jacqueline Woodall, and joining me is Dana Batiste. Dana, do you have any plans for Valentine's Day?
Nothing too exciting. Maybe some wine, maybe a little bit of surf and turf at home.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Surf and turf. You're going to make it yourself?
Yep, we're going to cook it ourselves.
Oh, nice with the fiancé.
Yes.
I like to call Brad the fiancé.
Yes, it's fancy.
It sounds fancy. All right, this is fancy. I don't know exactly what viewer sent this in, but this is something we found in our collection from over the years of photos. It's a heart made out of snow.
Yep.
And then this beautiful one in ice, which, you know, we're talking a lot about those ice caves lately. That's pretty beautiful.
Yep.
And then this. Well, Dana and I threw this Valentine's graphic together. I know it's a little loud, but it's certainly fun. Let's talk about what it says on it, though.
Okay.
Valentine's Day storms. Both coasts have persistent storms, depending on your whether you're on the east or west. Heavy snowfall or rain. Sustained winds at 60 for the East Coast. And, Dana, only a 12-hour break between the one that they're dealing with now and the next one.
Yeah, both coasts have actually been receiving relentless storms. No matter where you are, West Coast or East Coast, it's been a parade of lows.
Yeah.
We've seen that with the Pineapple Express on the West Coast, and then we've got the parade of lows on the East Coast. So storm the first is in progress. Storm the second starts on Saturday.
Oh, boy. And like I said, only that 12-hour window to take advantage of, and that's it. Okay, so I just want to show this beautiful comma shape, and my producer just pointed out that's half a heart.
Yep, it
right?
is. Yes.
If you flip that, you'd have a full heart.
Yes, the weather knows when it's Valentine's Day.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
All right. And so do we. We get really excited about this look. Tell us why a storm looks like a comma.
Yeah, so when we actually get really strong mid-latitude storms, we get this comma shape. And what's happening is you got the center of the low down here, and then you've got the wraparound precipitation, the warm front's out there, cold front trailing back, all that moisture. So when you get really mature storms, mid-latitude storms, they take on that look. And we actually had an image from NASA not too long ago of the same shape of cloud over the UK. So when you get really strong storms, they can take on that shape.
And this is something we refer to as the dry slot.
Yes.
Nova Scotia taking full advantage of that this afternoon. Finally, a bit of a break, and that'll be about the only break because that wraparound moisture will also bring in some additional snowfall.
Yes.
By the way, on that note, talking in Nova Scotia, this brought some warm temperatures, Dana. They were up at about 8 degrees yesterday.
Yes, and when I was looking at the temperatures this morning, they were well above zero. So we're actually going to get a little bit of warm air once again with the next storm. Not as much, not as warm, but it is going to get a little bit warm again. So I guess that's a little bit of good news.
That is good news, and also a little bit of warm up for parts of Ontario into next week. That's good news, but we won't. We're done with the teases. We'll keep going here with this story. St. John's, you still could be over the plus, well, on the plus side of the 0 degree mark, but then cold air wrapping around it, and these winds have been very persistent, and that continues. Tell us about what's going on here this evening as this energy moves through.
So basically, we got the wraparound precipitation or the trowel, and that's where we've got another area of snow. So you've noticed that maybe it stopped precipitating, and you can go out and do things. But later this evening, we're going to get another area of snow moving through, another area of gusty winds. So if you notice your visibility is dropping and you've got a burst of snow coming through, that's what's happening. Once that's gone, we're done with the first storm, and then we have to wait for the second one to come in.
So it's almost like people would say, well, geez, it looks like the storm's done, but then all of a sudden it starts again.
Yes.
Still that wraparound moisture.
Exactly.
And that does happen. Okay, let's talk about the next one. So this is Saturday afternoon. We just get about a 12-hour break between, and then another round of snow. Some areas like Fredericton into Moncton, 35 centimeters, maybe more.
So we'll see a similar situation to what we just saw happen. We're going to see a lot of rain in Nova Scotia, a lot of snow in New Brunswick, and a lot of wind right throughout Atlantic Canada.
All right, thanks for that analysis. Now we take you to an international story. Kalut, that is in Indonesia. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Volcano. This actually, Dana, sent a 15-kilometer high ash plume into the atmosphere, which is just incredible. And 200,000 people urged to evacuate. Of course, we know that with a volcano, it's caused by tectonic plate movement, right? Either pushing apart or pulling away, and the Earth's crust opens up, lava shoots out. But what's incredible is, I want to just go to this map. This is actually the ash plume going up into our atmosphere. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so what we're seeing is actually a little bit of what we call an overshooting top, and that's when the top of the cloud, a cloud can burst through the top of the tropopause, so that's a level in the atmosphere, and we're actually seeing that with this volcano. And what else is interesting, which our meteorologist Brian was telling us earlier, was they had 10 centimeters of ash on the ground. So we're complaining about 10 centimeters of snow.
No kidding.
They had 10 centimeters of ash.
Incredible. And of course, you and I talk a lot about overshooting tops when we're storm chasing. So it's neat to see it when we're talking about ash. Stay with us on this. We have lots more to talk about with your national weather forecast.